Hi, third graders. All right, I'm Mrs. Erickson, and I'm back to share a couple more pieces of artwork with you today. Now, the two pieces I'm going to show and share with you today are pieces that were really important to their communities. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece of art that was made in China. So I'm going to go ahead and hold it up for you here. I want you to go ahead and take a look. Take a really good look, and what do you see? What do you think this is? Your teacher can go ahead and pause the video while you kind of take a look at this, and then you guys can share your thoughts as a class. Okay, so now that you guys have had a minute to talk about this, do you know what this is? So this is called a money tree, okay? Do you know what that means? So many, many years ago, money trees were made to be buried in tombs during a time that was called the Han Dynasty. So the idea was to put a money tree with a person in a tomb to bring them good luck, bring good luck to the dead. It would grant wishes for eternal life to the person in the tomb. Do you know why this is called a money tree? Okay, they get their name because of the coin designs throughout the tree's branches. The branches are filled, I'm going to go ahead and try to bring it real close here for you to see. The branches are filled with animals and money. But if you take a close look, what else do you see? In what ways does it look like a real tree? And how do you think it's different? If you want to think about those questions, and then your teacher can go ahead and pause the video and you guys can take a minute to talk about that as a class. Okay, so this money tree, I wanted to share the artist with you. However, this money tree doesn't have a specific artist. Most of the money trees are similar in style, and so that suggests that they were actually made in workshops. So they were almost made like by a team, not just one specific artist. Someone who specialized in working with these materials was considered a craftsperson, so not necessarily an artist. I want to take a little closer look at the details here. We're going to start with the bird on the top. So this bird right up here is stretching high up toward the sky. It's not known exactly why birds are on the money tree, but they are believed to be a good sign, and they're thought to bring the sun to the world. So the next set of branches, they're filled with coins. And then below that, there are scenes of ancient Chinese rituals like performers and acrobats and figures wearing long robes. So can you see the small money hanging from one of the lower branches here? It's actually holding a coin half the size of its body. And then we have a ceramic mountain-like base that supports the tree. There are a bunch of animals, and then the animals on the base of a money tree are associated with good fortune and good luck. So money trees in a different form now are very popular with some families during the Chinese New Year. So it may not exactly look like this in more modern times, but they're actually now made from pine or citrus tree branches. And then they're put inside a clay pot that's filled with rice grains. And then they symbolize a long life. They're meant to symbolize having a very long life. So money trees are still valued today, even though they're from a long time ago. So I want you to take a minute and think, what traditions or beliefs have you learned from your own ancestors? And when do you do those things that you learned from them? And I want to know how they make you feel. So think about that, and we can go ahead and pause the video, and you guys can take a couple minutes to share your thoughts as a class again. Okay, now this money tree is made of bronze. So bronze is a mixture of copper and tin. And the branches were made by pouring a very hot liquid bronze into a mold to get these shapes. The bronze is very, very thin and delicate, so the money trees are very, very rare. And you know, they're very, very old. So there are actually less than 100 money trees that are known to still exist today. And I know it's hard because I can't show it to you in person, but this is very, very thin. So if you ever get the chance to go to the Minneapolis Institute of Art and take a look at it in person, you'll be able to see just how thin and really delicate this is. Okay, so I have another piece of art that I want to share with you. And this, like I said, this is another piece of art that was really, really important to the community that it came from. So this piece of art that I have to share with you is a sculpture. There's a lot to see on this one, so I'm going to hold it up, and then I want you to go ahead and take a minute to really look at it and then share your observations with the class. So I'll go ahead and hold it up. Okay, so now hopefully you've had a minute to take a look at it and then share your observations with the class. So have you ever seen anything like this sculpture before? I know I haven't. But it's what's called a power figure, okay? And it was created by the Nkisi Nkondi, okay? It was carved by the Congo people, and they lived in Central Africa. Or I'm sorry, the name of the power figure, it's also known as a Nkisi Nkondi, and it was carved by the Congo people. Like I said, they lived in Central Africa. These are also known as nail figures, and they were used for things like protecting their village. They were also known to cure sickness and then destroy enemies. So usually these were carved into the shape of a human, and then they were considered very sacred objects as well. Its powers came from spirits that were drawn to special herbs, to animal bones, fur, and seeds that are in a container inside either the head or the stomach of the power figure. So you can kind of see this one has, it has almost like a little container here where the stomach is. So can you see all these nails and screws that are sticking out of it? I mean, these are pretty obvious. You can tell there's a lot of them sticking out of it. Each one of these actually represents when it witnessed an agreement or another occasion when the figure's power was invoked. So when two people made an agreement in front of the Nkisi Nkondi, they sealed their deal by putting a nail in the figure to activate its powers. So you can see this one's pretty powerful because there are quite a few nails on there, don't you think? So you might be able to tell that this power figure is small. It's only about 16 inches tall. So just a little bit over a foot tall, not quite a foot and a half. And it's about 7 inches wide from that side to that side. But it can still be pretty intimidating with all the nails and the blades that it has sticking out of it. It's small but mighty. If you look at the mouth, you can also see that the mouth is open. And that's because the mouth is ready to speak on behalf of justice, which shows that it really has power. And then the eyes here, the eyes were made of glass mirrors. That way, someone could see through the glass, but also see their reflection in the mirror at the same time. So they could look actually inside the power figure, but they could also see their reflection in the eyes themselves. So what about the posture? Do you see that it's standing in a pose of authority? It's almost like it's ready for action. It's ready to punish someone if needed. I want you to think about your first reaction when you saw this piece of art. What did you, is this what you thought it was? Is it very different than what you thought it was? And now that you know that it was created to keep peace in the community, how do you feel about it? And then think about what changed for you. And then I'll have your teacher go ahead and pause the video and take a minute to share with each other. And now I have a little bit more information about the appearance of this power figure. This figure is covered mostly with iron nails, and nails are very important for the Congo people because they considered metal to be powerful. There's also shells, there's string, and even pieces of bone on it. These tied bundles also may symbolize stopping or tying up evil spirits. And then this power figure, I don't know if you could tell, but it was actually carved out of wood. And they used chisels, knives, and then mallets to form this actual sculpture. And we don't know who the artist is. We do know that a sculptor and a ritual specialist worked together to make this statue so that it could meet both the spiritual and the social needs of the community. Now, this artwork helped the community stay peaceful, and it really helped everyone get along with each other. So when you think of it that way, also think about, how does your class maybe keep the peace? How does it feel to you if someone maybe breaks a promise? And how does it feel when someone keeps a promise to you? If you want, you can take a minute to kind of share your thoughts with the class. And then as we're just wrapping up here, go ahead and take a few minutes and talk about that, how this artwork seemed to really keep the peace in the community, and think about how you're able to keep the peace in your own community and your own classroom. I'll go ahead and hold this up for the end, and then you guys can take a few minutes to talk, and I'll see you next time. I'll have some more great artwork for you to discover, okay? So thank you.